Finally, we have Jdxl. His name is John Daniel Power. Dude is super talented. He's from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which is about 30 minutes-ish southeast of Nashville.
Jdxl is John Daniel Powell, and that comes your way from Tennessee. He's only 22, but he's been smashing it on the piano since he was about 15, and now he writes, records, and
Jdxl, based in Tennessee, USA, bass to keyboardist, DJ John Daniel Powell, aka Jdxl, professional pianist since age 15, who writes, records and mixes his own electronic tracks, does it really, really well. Spotted by music supremo Fred Cannon after falling off his roof.
What's up, Middle Tennessee? This is Jdxl, and you're listening to my show. In the studio, I got Double A Mullane.
Hello, hello.
And we're coming at you live on 100.5 and 101.9 FM and 1450 AM, and you can listen anywhere in the world at WGNSradio.com. You can also watch us live in the studio at youtube.com/@newsradio WGNS.
Absolutely.
And so we got some special guests calling in from 16 hours in the future right now. They're the progressive rock legends calling in from Melbourne, Australia. They've toured with bands like Coheed and Cambria, Emery, Dance Gavin Dance, Silverstein, Secret and Whisper. Their new album's out, Soft Hell. It's #1 on the independent charts in Australia. They got 1 million streams in 4 days whenever it dropped.
Okay.
So I'd say their fans were a little bit excited for that album. Just a little bit.
A little anticipated.
Yeah. But anyways, Closure in Moscow on the line. What's going on, guys? Barrett and Manny.
JD, how are you, brother? Thanks for having us.
What's going on? How's the 20th?
Just living in the future, man, you know.
Yeah. Is the 20th as good as the 19th?
It is.
The future is bright.
Nice.
Things are traveling well.
Yeah, I was going to say, with this whole show, I realized you guys, when y'all get on a plane, you can literally leave your time and then get here an hour earlier in the U.S. in Central Time.
It's the secret to success, man. That's what it is.
If you could teleport, you could just straight come to the past, to the moment you left.
That's what we do, man. That's what it is.
We've actually got you guys on the air so we can talk about the astrophysics of time travel, actually, not just music.
Absolutely. We had to ask how the 20th is.
We could talk about how time is a construct, doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I feel like really we're just diving into y'all's lyrics at this point, because the lyrics on y'all's records are, I don't even, half the time I don't know what I'm singing, man. It's beyond human understanding. It's so in depth.
Look, man, it's a lot of emotion, a lot of frequency, a lot of vibration. You know, Christopher is a wordsmith.
I was going to say,
you know, and he pours his heart and stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've always, Vanguard, you know, I feel like he used every word that rhymes with crucifix and, you know, Dianetic and all these different words and just goes into it, but it all makes sense somehow. It's impressive.
It does, man. It does.
But
it does indeed.
We got the guitarists of Closure in Moscow right now. We got the shredders back and forth, man. What's the process with you guys with writing all these licks, man? Y'all are insane.
Thanks, man. It always just starts with a little bit of curiosity. You know, you might be mucking around, or it might be a drum beat, or like vocal line or something, and then it's just kind of get the next bit. But it's always one little like set of notes or something that's like pricks your ears up.
So you guys normally start with like a guitar lick a lot of times, and then it kind of progresses from there, or where does like kind of the structure of the song start?
No, it's always kind of every song gets a different starting point. It's like every time you finish a song, you go, "That was great. Let's do that again because that worked really well," and then you forget everything and you have to start you have to go, right, I need to learn how to write a song again.
We're painting for gold, man. You're painting for gold with different. I mean, we've all got eclectic taste in music, essentially, and I guess, it can spur on from anything. I mean, this last album had songs where our drummer had an idea and he came in, and then Barry fleshed out some stuff, and then Chris and I did some vocals on it, and the song came to fruition. And then another one would be where Barry just goes, "Hey, this is the entire chord structure," and then we'll put vocals to it, or Chris had an idea, or there's really no kind of. No, would you say that? Would you say
because there were some songs where Dunk, our bass player, does a solo that kind of is a guitar solo, but he's playing it on bass, and it just got pitch shifted up to sort of like sit in the right frequency. Or Sal kind of had these chords that, you know, we would never use. And it's like that thing, if, you know, you're writing something as a guitar player, you might go, oh, that's not clever enough, or that's not, you know, that's too simple. You can't just play one note constantly. But then when somebody else does it and shows you, you go, oh, actually, I really like that. That's a cool line. And I never would have done it because I never would have let it get past, you know, the ego of like, oh, it's got to be, you know, some sort of flash or something like that. So that was quite an exciting and like new way that we did it with this.
We can't divulge any more secrets, man. You know,
well, every guitarist in Nashville is listening. Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of guitarists are trying to understand the secrets right now.
We're lulling you into a false sense of security here. Way to pick up on that.
That's what it is. That's what it is. It's, but I definitely, I think on this album with Softell, it's I really enjoyed the interplay between the guitars. I think like our first album, First Temple, which is what Vanguard was on. That was kind of like, hey, check us out. We can play. We can, you know, look at us. It was very like just 16th and driven and like, man, look at these riffs and look at these licks and these time signatures and this is all what it is. And then the album after that was a concept album where we're telling a story. And this one is, I guess, you know, I don't want to say better songwriting. I don't know how would you say it? It's kind of, I think the interplay between the guitars is a lot more mature. We'll say that, mature.
Yeah. Seasoned, mature. Yeah,
like,
follow you.
Yeah. There's a thing with age, like when you're like late teens, early 20s, everything tries to just be as fast as possible, like as fast as you can get. You're trying to show off. You're trying to be like, look at me. And we're still trying to be like, look at me. Like, you never lose that. There's still like that sort of, I mean, it's kind of a driver of creativity is like ego and insecurity. They're like the best things to keep you going. But yeah, having that, but you're allowed to like be like, oh, okay, we can chill on a bit now. It doesn't have to go 900 miles an hour constantly because it's nice when you take a break and then you go 900 miles an hour again.
Well, we still appreciate it. We still appreciate the speed on First Temple for sure, man. It was good when we were younger, and it's good now. Yeah, and I love like the different cultural licks and stuff on it too. You got like kind of the more Asian on Sweetheart, and then you know there was like different cultures in there, and then like Kissing Cousins is kind of like almost like Egyptian or Arabian at the beginning. It's great.
Yeah.
But
great time in our lives for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you guys, like I don't know if I've ever even seen this in an interview before. What was kind of like the name inspiration for Closure in Moscow, and also have you guys ever been to Moscow? Did you have closure in Moscow?
No, so this is where you wish that there was like a really deep meaning, and it was kind of one of those things that, first off, we've never been to Moscow.
We came close though. Almost went.
And the visa fees were like, they just don't like Australians for some reason.
Yeah, they don't
like, no, you have to pay $2,000 each to get in.
Oh my gosh.
It was something crazy. And there was other logistical nightmares of just, man, being a band in Australia is just like, you're already up against the wall already. It's not like being in the States. It's, you know, we're an island in the middle of nowhere.
It was fair, yeah.
But, so hopefully Russia soon. I'd like to do Russia. I mean, depending on the situation.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know.
It's not favorable at the current moment.
We can't get out. I don't know.
You could start in Ukraine and then maybe travel up to Russia. I don't know.
Oh man, who knows, dude? Who knows?
Sneak our way through.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think the band name was just like, like at the time. This is the honest thing. It was like there's bands like Fall of Troy, and you go, action word, little word, place name. Which of them sounds cool? And then somebody said Closure in Moscow, and you're like, yeah, that's great. And then you realize, oh my God, that's really long and confusing. And every time you say it to somebody, they go, what? What was that?
But that's the allure, I think.
Closure in Moscow.
Yeah.
What was that?
You always get the huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've got your listeners saying the exact same thing.
And what? We had to figure out, is it Moscow or Moscow?
So you guys basically just had different names in a hat, and then you had prepositional phrases in one of the other hats, and you just
beautiful.
drew them out.
JD, what actually happened? We did a seance, man. We sold our soul to the devil, and
oh man,
and that was the name that came out, brother.
Yeah, we got the devil to pick the name out of the hat, and we were like, oh, we sold our soul.
Oh, no.
I mean,
Dang.
it was some of his best work.
Dang.
It's a great band name. So I mean,
Closure
we
Moscow, Illuminati confirmed.
You guys sold it well, I'd say.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. It's I will say now, X amount of years on, having played all over the world and played. Man, we've been a band for many years now, and it's kind of I guess the name is just the name. Really, it's more so what the music is behind it and whatnot. So I'm into it. I'm into it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
There's memories.
For sure.
So you guys kind of how did y'all meet each other? Did y'all always been friends, or you just kind of how did that come about? Just with you guys all jamming together? Because I know you guys kind of started out locally, and then it was going really well, and then y'all, I guess, sold your cars or something like that to get your favorite producer out to record an album. Is that the story?
Yeah, to get Chris Crummett out. I think were you just filming shows? Or
No, I guess it was Man, we're gonna go back.
I don't
now.
remember.
This is a while. We're gonna go back and hang on a second, boys. Let's take the walk down memory lane here. Hang on. It was kind of like the quintessential starting a band story, really, where it's some guys come together and it just sort of works. So, I get Barrett and our old bass player Brad and our old drummer Bo went to school together. Yeah, so you guys used to jam, I guess, whatnot. And then Christopher used to play in 3 or 4 or 5 different other bands and whatnot. He's a drumming some and whatnot. And I was playing in pretty much a heavy kind of metal band, and then that didn't work out. And Chris's bands didn't work out, and then I met Bo at a show, and then we became friends, and then I met the rest of these guys, and then it was like, do you want to play guitar? And okay, and we got together, and then I guess the stars aligned. I guess. Yeah. Here we are. Now we can't shake each other.
So did you guys ever, I know y'all obviously came to Nashville at one point. I saw you guys live in Nashville, and I don't know if you guys remember, but me and my buddies, we actually helped carry out y'all's equipment, and we just hung out with y'all, didn't even watch Silverstein, hung out for hours out in Nashville, outside the venue. It was Rocket Town.
Rocket Town.
That would have been ages for Silverstein.
It was 13 years ago, man. But we were hanging out for 2 or 3 hours out there shooting the breeze, man, just talking it up.
Well, there's no doubt about it, because we're great conversationalists, clearly. So, but man, you're going way back. It's the last time we came to the States was 2018, and then obviously all this craziness happened. So we haven't been back for a little while. So we're coming next year on Valentine's Day in Nashville, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, absolutely, man.
To reconnect, man.
Which absolutely, we're gonna be there, man. And I'm already wrecking everybody's Valentine's plans. My brother just got recently married. I'm like, so you're taking your wife to Closure Moscow, by the way, for your first Valentine.
See, that's that family values. I like this.
Yeah,
He's your biggest recruiter. He's talking to everybody. Literally, somebody on the street will walk by and she's like, "So what's your Valentine's Day plans like?" So I mean, you guys will. A third of the audience will have talked to JD at some point in time. I'm convinced.
Yeah, there was a homeless guy with a cup. He was asking for money, and I dropped Closure Moscow tickets in the cup. So it's that serious, man.
Free the homeless. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So what else are you doing on Valentine's Day? Shouldn't every day be Valentine's Day if you're in love?
Preach it.
It's a Wednesday night, man.
Preach it.
They can do it on the weekends.
It's Wednesday, 14th of February. Where are we playing? The end.
Yeah. Everybody. February 14th, the end. Pull up.
Yeah.
Closure Moscow.
Like I said.
What else are you doing on a Wednesday night?
If you have love in your heart, Valentine's Day is just another day.
Yeah.
That was modern day poetry right there. That was beautiful.
I like it.
Yeah, but Soft Hell
is
fire, by the way, guys. No pun intended on that.
Thank you, man.
Not 9 years worth the wait. I mean, whenever I saw that you guys were dropping new singles, you reignited my Closure Moscow fan feud going on here. So I put everything in a playlist, all y'all's records. The playlist is called Actual Musicians. It's great. Been listening to it on repeat, getting amped up for the show.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. It's very very fun, man, and just the reception has been really really great. It's kind of, yeah, it fills it up, man, for sure. It's, you know, you don't think you're going to get X amount of streams or you can hit the charts or you can do any of this stuff. So it's been interesting. I mean,
and nice to connect with people again too. It's so long, like you feel kind of isolated from when you used to be playing shows and, you know, talking to people and talking about music, and then you go through this big like gap and you kind of lose perspective on everything. So it's nice to be back.
What's like just been the difference too? I mean, the last time you guys dropped a record, you couldn't even stream back then. So now it's like streaming, everything's switched. I mean, you guys have had basically like the evolution of music between all the albums because of the distance.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, you're right, actually. I didn't even think of that.
I think because it's actually been one each decade of the 2000s. It was like the noughties, the 10s, and then the 20s. That's how slow we are.
Hey, man, it's, you know, art takes time. You know? But it's been interesting to the stream because, you know, I was saying this to the guys actually the other day. You know, we came up in a world where it was very much like physical CDs and like streaming services weren't really around. So like you would sell your CD and
it was like
burning CDs and you'd sell actual physical copies. So it's interesting to see now that it's all about streams and actually vinyl's had a massive resurgence. Like I can't believe the vinyl sale. Like we've charted mainly because of the vinyl sales, which is crazy. And that it's just a different beast. So like the world that we sort of came up in is gone, and now this is it's a new age for like how music is consumed and how people sort of find new music and new bands. So we've had an influx of new people that have come in that have never heard of the band, never heard the back catalogue, and they're coming in to Soft Hell for the first time. They're like, cool, this is bands. And they take a trip and they listen to like our last album, Pink Lemonade, and First Temple, and they're like, what is going on? So I think with the advent of streaming services, it's great in terms of exposure. I guess on the monetary side of it, it's not great because you basically do 1 million streams and you can buy a cheeseburger. So, but you know,
I always think on the other side of things, though, you never would have had those listens if somebody had to buy. In Australia, I think a CD still costs $25 or $20.
Yeah, Australia is exorbitant, of course. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So yeah, but it's a different landscape, man, and it's good to be back. You know, I think you know, life gets in the way, man. Now it's different, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're older now, you know. There's kids, there's family, there's wives, there's moving parts, which is great. So yeah, I'm excited to navigate, I guess, this next epoch of what Ultra Moscow is.
Well, the way I found out about you guys was actually MySpace. I was looking up bands on the tour that I was going to check out. It was Emery, Malines and the Sons of Disaster, Secret and Whisper. I was going to Masquerade, which I believe you guys are actually heading there on your tour next year. You guys are going back to Masquerade.
We are. The day before, we're at the 13th of February at the Masquerade in Atlanta.
Absolutely, yeah. I saw that on the list. So I went to y'all's MySpace page. First song I clicked on, Night at the Spleen. When I heard the guitar solo melting my face off, I was like, what the heck? So then I started checking out the other stuff. So by the time I got to Masquerade, I was already a fan, and then you guys came to Nashville, and that's when we ended up hanging out for like 2 or 3 hours after y'all got finished up. So completely missed Silverstein, but they're actually coming December 2nd. Shout out to Nashville. So they're still at it. Yeah, they're like 11 albums deep.
At it, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They were just here in Australia.
They were just here in Australia?
Yeah, they were in Australia. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy, man. Yeah. By the way, Secret and Whisper's drummer said you guys rule. We were talking about you guys coming on the show tonight. Shout out to Ryan Lurkey. He said you guys rule. Yeah, awesome. But another memory lane for you guys. Will y'all be performing Red Light Refrain at the Nashville show by chance?
Yeah, we were just like Maddie and I were going through Soft Hell tunes today.
Oh my goodness.
Or Chemical Inside Me.
Man, you're going back to the future. This is crazy, man. Where did you pop that from? Red Light.
Dude, hey, listen, man. Wow. I've got those in my iPod Nano at the house still, which still works, by the way.
Goodness gracious.
All right.
What's
a true connoisseur. I like this.
Yeah. What's the story with those two, by the way? Because like I always wondered, is that Chris singing on those tracks? Because he's completely different, obviously, by the time.
Yeah, it is, man. It is.
That's him. Wow, that's crazy. He's what was he like in high school or something when he was recording those? Or sounds young.
One where there was Joe, the very, very first singer.
Red Light?
Maybe.
No, he wouldn't have that. No way. He wouldn't have that. It'd be Chris. Sure.
Yeah, it was the same singer on both of them, but it was like completely different. It's like night and day difference between that and then
Really?
Penance and the Patience. You know, I'll whenever you guys come to Nashville, we'll pull them up.
Pre-selling of the soul, man. That was pre-selling. That's what happens, you know.
Yeah, that was obviously before you guys like really got going. So that was just like demos recorded before your actual like first project.
Yeah, man, I don't know how you have access to this. We got to talk here. This is how do you have access?
They were actually you guys remember like back whenever iTunes and all that kind of stuff came out, there was like LimeWire, and somehow they were on like some of those illegal downloading sites or whatever, and one of my friends got a hold of them, and they've been on my iPod ever since. And of course you can still,
oh my god,
if you type in Red Light Refrain Closer in Moscow, it still pulls up that song on YouTube. Still someone still has a channel with it. You can like look it up right after the show.
I can't wait to send a cease and desist to that guy. Oh wow, it does too. We're looking it up right now. This is crazy, man.
Hey man,
wow.
There's a poor guy on YouTube that's just like, no, what have you done?
He's like, you told the source. Yeah, man. There's people in the comments that are like,
oh my god, we're listening to the right. What the hell? What is happening?
We have inside information here at our show, man. We know everything.
Dude, man? Maybe you're in the future, dude. What is
That's
wow. Yeah, that demo that you have is not Chris. It's a guy called Joe.
Okay. Yeah, I figured. I was like, that is like, man, he must have got some like super transformation in vocals like between those projects, because it just sounds completely different.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta say, dude, respect. You're a true lover of music, man, for sure.
For keeping that iPod Nano and keeping the charging cable.
Yeah.
As well. Like, I can't believe you haven't lost that.
The chart. You're right. That's actually valid. The charging cable. That's
hey man,
good job there, man.
You got to hold on to those.
Over,
Those are trinkets. They're artifacts for the future generations. But I was gonna ask you guys, what's the most difficult song to perform live? I mean, obviously you guys have like super intricate stuff. Like, what's one that you're just kind of like, take a deep breath because this is gonna be, wild.
It's got to be. Everybody's got a different one.
Yeah,
different. Sal, I think there's some on this one where Sal's like, "Oh, I love playing Don Juan," because he just sits back and is like,
yeah,
for the whole song. And then that was one that me and Manny were actually running today. So that's kind of difficult on guitar.
Which one is that?
Don Juan Triumphant.
Oh, really? Really? Okay.
Vanguard was always kind of, there had to be like, that's one where you got to get the picking right. You got to do like the right outside picking on some of the fast bits, and if you lose it, you're like,
it's over. Yeah. Would you say Vanguard?
That was Vanguard.
Vanguard. Yeah. I guess for me, because I sing and play, the songs are different. So like I would say, man, they're all kind of have a certain level of difficulty. But to sing and play, Spleen's difficult to sing and play.
Right. Yeah.
Spleen. Just because I'm doing the octave harmonies with Chris whilst doing like a bit intricate guitar parts with Barrett, and my brain's just
splitting.
Going to another place. I'm like astral projecting, like I'm just. Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking that on the way here. Actually, I was like listening, on the way, and I'm just like, man, like how does he even sing and do that at the same time? That's insane, man. It's like complete brain separation.
Yeah, sometimes it can fall apart, man. But for the majority of the time, we're okay. Majority. But I'd say that. I'd agree actually. Vanguard's tough to play, man. I'd say that. Off the new one, I'd definitely say Don Juan Triumphant and what else is tough? I'd probably say Better Way's pretty tough as well. Oh yeah, this is the lead single, Better Way.
What about those tempo switches on? Was it Jaegerbomb? It's like such an extreme like tempo switch you guys have on that.
Well, the trick with that is the tempo switch goes down to like a triplet of the faster tempo. So it's not a completely like different tempo. If you can sort of think in your head when it's coming to the tempo change, you're like, all right, think in triplets, and then the triplet just becomes, instead of being like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, it becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
You're giving away our secrets, man.
That's a good one. You can do this at home.
I'm recording all this on my iPod Nano right now, guys.
No, man. It's going to put on his Nano. It's going to be a time lock forever.
That's how you know that's sealed, man.
I was gonna ask you guys.
There'll be some alien-like humanoid creature in the year 3000 that uncovers this relic.
It's gonna be the Techno Christ, man.
That's what it's gonna be, man. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I was gonna ask you guys, I mean, what's y'all's like musical background? Because obviously you guys have some serious, I feel like, jazz influence with like blues and just all this different stuff, you know, like integrated into your music. You know, especially the like complication of the music. I feel like there has to be some jazz background, or maybe I'm wrong.
But both Barrett and I are self-taught. Chris as well, I believe.
Wow.
Sal and Dunk went to school, so they actually have more of the idea of like jazz and harmony and that kind of thing.
They have like proper degrees and pieces of paper that say that they can do music.
But it's been quite good because they sort of taught us, like Dunk's really taught me a lot about just intervallic relationships, and he's like, oh, if you do it in fourths, you know, fourths have this kind of thing. And I've never thought about it that way, so that's been quite cool. But no, I think that the technical thing kind of came from like, when we were writing, it was always writing in the box and, you know, recording right away so that then you can edit. So you can sort of edit parts that you might not be able to play yet and then kind of go backwards. Whereas if you know, we were like, we'd be a terrible band in the 70s if we had to record on, you know, we'd be like a 3-chord punk band or something. If we actually had to do it, because we would just do it in the box, and then you can cut it up to make it some super complex thing, and then you kind of learn it after the fact. And so that's kind of where a lot of the complexity, I think, came from. And then you get little mistakes that happen in that sort of realm as well, where you're like, a bar will get cut off one beat, and you go, oh, actually, that's cool. We'll roll with that.
Plus, we all have eclectic taste, really, in music. Like we all have such a wide-ranging taste, and I think a lot of that sort of seeps into the ideas and all 5 of us, like any idea that comes through, we're literally painting for gold, and anything that's excess, anything that doesn't make, like, it gets scrutinized heavily between 5 people that are just, you know, if we all like it, it stays in. If we don't like it, it's gone, it's cut, or it's shaped, or it's molded, or whatnot. So there's a really good, I guess, refining process with ideas.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
that
fellas,
kind of keeps getting it.
I was gonna say, I appreciate you guys calling in. We keep it short and sweet here at the Jdxl show. It's a 30-minute show, but man, great talking with you guys. Everybody, pull up February 14th. You guys can stay on the line for a second after the show. I'll shout at y'all. But everybody have a good night. February 14th, The Inn, Nashville, Closure in Moscow. Check out Soft Hell and all their other records. First Temple, Pink Lemonade, Penance to the Patience. It's all on streaming. Check it out. Everybody have a good night.
Now, an update from the WGNSradio.com News Center.
I'm Ron Jordan. A minor is facing multiple charges in connection with 2 separate vehicle fires that took place on the same street in Rutherford County. The first vehicle fire was reported October 23rd, followed by the second fire November 2nd. Both incidents occurred along Longview Drive. The investigation resulted in a juvenile being charged with 2 counts of burglary, 2 counts of vandalism, and 2 counts of setting fire to personal property. The Murfreesboro City Council has directed city staff to proceed with the design of a full layout of amenities for community